the country. Uh, the success story of Green Revolution not only made the economy self-sufficient in food gain, but helped to build strong base of national integration and growth story in the country. The serious crisis of political stability and economic challenges of the 60s at the national and uh, other levels was successfully tackled with the advent of the Green Revolution. In 1980s, Punjab has the highest per capita income and capital expenditure in the country. It was also known for relatively good governance and prudent one of fiscal sources, although policies and the religion remained, politics and the religion remained entangled, which ultimately led to the rise of violent and secessionist movement in the late 70s and early 80s. The state witnessed unforeseen rise in the state and non-state actors' violence for more than 15 years from 1978 to 1993. It brought havoc for the Punjab, which demolished the very spirit of the Punjabis, particularly in the social, economic and political sector. And the whole rural life was demolished. More than 35,000 people were killed by the both state and the non-state actors, and ultimately resulted to a large-scale involuntary migration from the countryside to the cities. And it also indirectly affected the very structure of the development of the country life over there, education and health as well as the other institutions over there. The unfortunate and man-made happening of the 80s, executed both by the state and the non-state actors, brought untold miseries to the people. The Tricarian laws, Strata, Disturbed Area, free hand to the security forces, every day new experiment by the then rulers, both of the center and the state, the people of Punjab, long-term presidential rule, complete ban on political activities, mushroom growth of the terrorist organizations, and large-scale joining of the young boys in the groups of the terrorists, which ultimately created a lot of problems for the people over there. On the other hand, development programs suffered during terrorism in Punjab and early 90s as funds were diverted for the major expansion of police force and raising tax revenue was ignored. The worst affected areas were health, education, panchayat and other communities related services, particularly in the rural area. Scared industrialists and traders diverted their investment to other states. The normal life of the citizen was hit due to the frequent strikes and the bunds. The only agenda of the government was to tackle the terrorist movement with the military power by adopting all means at its disposal. The activities of the terrorists ultimately resulting into losing whatever little support they had, and ultimately that became the reason for the decline of the terrorist violence in the state. The holding of the election in Punjab in 1992 under the shadow of fear and violence proved to be the last nail in the coffin of the terrorism. Since then, no responsible government of the state tried to bring back Punjab to its old glory. The advent of adoption of LPG or criminal withdrawal of the successive governments from the social responsibility brought Punjab to the verge of hopelessness and despair. The focus of the governments remained on the winning elections and making people dependent upon them for petty things. The criminal nexus between the politicians, bureaucrats, and anti-social unity was encouraged and strengthened starting from the grassroots level to the upper level. The corruption was allowed to become a legitimate tool to get work done. The very nature and structure of policies and the political process slowly was made anti-people. The process of centralization of power in the hands of powerful and the decentralization of the terror among the masses was patronized and encouraged by the rulers. The control of scarce natural sources in the state became property of the ruling elites, and in order to protect their interests, Gunda and anti-social elements were grounded and protected by the successive governments in the state. For example, to have total control on what is called natural sources, sand, gravel, then you have liquor trade, protection of drug mafia, and so on and so forth. Construction of large number of vegetables, basically, ultimately it resulted into a different type of growth, which was not pro-people at all. To make opponents in competitive populism, the successive government, particularly since 1997, have open to open the plug of state coffers by providing open-ended subsidies of free power, groundwater to agriculture, writing of farmers, big farmers loan, free power to the big farmers as well as the small farmers over there, free bus travel particularly at present, Sagan, Atara scheme and all these things help the government to win the election, but ultimately it plays with the economic system of the state over there. Development became synonymously public break and mortar structure, eroding structure reforms and software side of good governance. Main developments during the last 20 years were setting up large number of private colleges and the university and construction of government building and roads using bank loans. In the absence of robust quality assurance mechanism, the quality of education imparted by these university colleges and schools declined. Successive state governments avoided or half-heartedly implemented institutional changes to improve efficacy of public utilities and improve tax collection. Considerable share of government income was kept outside the budget process to promote vote bank politics. The best example is of the Sangha Darshan by the previous government led by the Prakash Singh Badal. All these things ultimately resulted into bringing the state at the verge of economic collapse over there. In modern day Punjab, pessimism is flourishing. This is point which I want to underline. It reflects a sense of hopelessness and well-meaning Punjabis feel about lack of accountability in various spheres of government activity, corruption, unemployment, stagnating agriculture, flight of trade and industry, poor quality of education, and bleak future of children. Punjab's wavering in Safed permission stands in stark contrast of the optimism of the 1950s or the 60s or the 70s. Yet Punjab's experience reveals that a bleak future of a geostrategically vulnerable state in the 21st century. Accustomed to benefiting from license permit raj, many industrialists of Punjab did not show their willingness to capitalize on opening up of the economy. Entrenched anti-private sector sense of politicians, bureaucracy, and it was a discouragement. Seeing bleak future in the state, smart industrial also moved out of Punjab. Some because of the policies of the central government by giving the special concessions to the hill state area. Punjab being a border state became a structural victim in that way also of that development process. Punjab with high land prices bypassed the state due to insular ruling politicians surrounded by unimaginative bureaucrats. Then setter of receptor policies and institutional innovations from 1950 to 70, Punjab has spared no effort to stonewall legal reforms during the last more than 25 years. Retirement of upright persons and competent persons created a vacuum as no new recruitment was done in the state. Punjab's high standard of living has also, because of the Green Revolution, is ultimately rate of birth is also one of the major area of concern at present. Average living levels are high and the gap between the existing jobs and expectations are widening. Lower salaries dent the youth aspirations. Consequently, those who are able to afford to go abroad to settle down in the pursuit of a better quality of life, while those who cannot feel stuck. Punjabi youth most dissatisfied. We have recently one study on a state of youth in India, wherein it was found that the Punjabi youth is the most dissatisfied vis-a-vis the other states of the country. Almost 4/5 of the total youth in the state, they are not satisfied what is happening in Punjab or what is their future in the Punjab or any hope for them. There is a big no on their part. Punjab economy is also facing downward trend since early 90s because of decline in the farm income, and none of the governments since then taking agrarian issues seriously. Before the incumbent government, particularly the present government, the Congress government was and the Kali government was highly criticized to each other of the poor financial management of the resources. Punjab economy is burdened by highly what we call as a discriminatory and non-discriminatory populist policies, particularly only for the sake of getting the votes from the people over there. Since the state government has not worked much on the issue of enhancing revenue areas and sources, the debt burden has risen to a very high level from rupees 48,000 crore in 2006 to 1.25 lakh crore in 2015-2016 and now almost 3 lakh crore when this new government came over there. Punjab's gift of green revolution in India has been a curse for the state itself. It brought growth without development, leading to a serious social political consequences. The post-green revolution period not only brought economic downturn for Punjab, but also became a cause of loss of lives of large numbers of farmers. The cycle of 2-3 crops, the shrinking water tables, the crop failure due to natural calamities or attack of insects, use of spurious pesticides, etc., ultimately is bringing a hopelessness among the small and the marginal peasantry in the state. The government also remained basically seems to be helplessness on that issue while it comes the issues of the farmers over there. A major factor basically which brought Punjab to this situation is what we see is that the policies adopted by the successive government not taking the core issues into its central but only relying upon which basically program or which area can bring vote for them. There is a complete centralization of the powers starting from the village level to the top level. What we need is that the decentralization of the power at all levels over there. Now we have seen that even these policies are not helping. Even this policies of the government is not very much providing support to the system. When you talk about the education, I think education will see that we have very good beginning in the 70s. But with the coming of the 80s, still we think that it was the terrorist violence which demolished our whole social structure over there. The worstly affected was the education and the health services and the rural area over there. And after that, no government has taken any major step to bring the state on its back. And that's why we are facing a very grim situation. And there is always possibility of the revival of old wounds and the revival of old forces. Because many times we see that in order to divert the attention of the people from the core issues or their major issues, new issues are being brought into being, new personalities are being brought into being, and the whole attention of the people as well as the system moves to that side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Professor Sekhov has discussed in detail the great impact. One thing very serious about that is that the logic on which India was partitioned has lived with a major section of people in Punjab. There was a time when it was said, for example, the Hindus got India, Hindustan, and Muslims got Pakistan. What did the Sikhs get? Though a vast majority of people may reject this logic, at a subterranean level, people do continue to think on those lines. So that kind of impact you see whenever there is a talk of Khalistan, at the back is that if present ruling regime talks of Hindu Rashtra, which is almost like a justification of the demand for Pakistan, then why should we not talk of Khalistan? That's the kind of logic given. So that partition has made a great impact on our way of thinking and our way of thinking about the future and our identity. We have very short time actually. I'll now request Professor Sidhu.
There are two Sidhus.
Harban Singh Sidhu. Okay. Mr. Amarjeet Singh Sidhu. Okay. We'll talk on the Punjab situation after 1984, the student movement and present problem of the peasantry.
Thank you, Dr. Puri, and the organizer of this convention. I have been, told to share my views just before this panel was to discuss the situation of Punjab. So I will not take much time. I am thankful to the organizer for providing me this opportunity to share my viewpoint. We were a student, Dr. Chand Bhatt, Dr. Jagrup Sekhon, Dr. Arvind and myself, when this problem of terrorism started, and we almost are contemporary to the start of that when we left our, the student career. And perhaps the major, in my viewpoint, there are 3-4 major challenges which Punjab is facing. It was facing in the past, it is facing presently, and it is expected to face in the future also. One major setback of the terrorism in Punjab was that, after 1984, we, in 83, we, for the last election in the Guru Nanak Dev University, I was the organizer of that election. One of our friend, he is also advocate, Dr. Lakhvinder Randhawa, he was the last president, elected president. So we used to have the elected student council in GNDU, in Agriculture University and Punjabi University Patiala. Punjab University is still continuing with the election. So that is the major setback or the impact of the terrorism on Punjab, that the entire student movement under which people like me who came from the rural background, so they also developed their political consciousness. The kind of movement which was existing before 1984, so that is missing. I had been in teaching, just retired in November this year 22, so I have not seen that kind of discussion among the student during my last 35 year of career after the terrorism. So this is a major setback that we are finding. So we are not finding the students who are aligned with this kind of movement or such convention, who are passed out after. Very few are there, those who have some kind of the parents' background, etc. But the educational system which used to provide this the feedback to the system, that is totally missing. The second major the impact of terrorism was that the people who were well off, they migrated from the rural Punjab to the urban Punjab. So the kind of impact which they used to have on the educational institution, on the working of our health, the department, etc. If somebody suppose come from a army, he used to settle in the village. But the kind of terrorism which developed during the 84 to 92, 95, that had ruined the rural Punjab. All the institutions, they are not delivering. Of course, the contribution of all the political parties, whether the Congress or the Akali BJP or even the present government is not also touching to those issues which are really are the people's issue. So we are talking about the smart school and all that, but what I have the feedback that the level of the education is not changing, has not changed even at the present moment. The third major problem which the Punjab is facing these days is the large scale migration of the youth. Particularly, of course, the privatization of education has harmed our educational institution or deprived the lower section of the society to get education. But at present, what is happening, recently a report has been published by the government or in the media, that the strength of the existing college that has gone in some cases less than 50% of their strength, because large number of students they are migrating to the foreign country. So they are not only migrating, they are also taking away, according to some rough estimates, about 50,000 crore of rupees leaving Punjab every year. And now those who are going there are getting work.
Because we had a foreign exchange crisis, it was beyond the administrative competence of the nation to handle larger grains imports, and therefore we imported 10.5 million tons. So it was in this scenario that the government of India tried to bring about a change. The resources, of course, were limited, and one option was let's distribute those resources equally all over the country. But then the general view was it will not bring any returns. You better invest in a small area where those resources are likely to show results. And since we were in an advantageous position, Punjab, we had irrigation, we had completed by that time consolidation of holdings, we had cooperative societies to channelize credit. So a lot of things which were required for successful implementation of a new policy were existing in Punjab. Therefore, Punjab was chosen. So Punjab became almost an incidental beneficiary of a national policy which was primarily to solve the food grains problem. Of course, we have been beneficiary for 15-20 years. We developed at a very fast rate. Punjab agriculture has been growing at more than 6-7% from 1965-66 to until 80s. And then, of course, it started tapering off. The success was largely because the state invested a lot of money in Punjab. They made it possible. They set up Food Corporation of India in 65, set up the Fertilizer Corporation of India in 65, the surpluses to mop up surpluses so that there's no some kind of crash of prices in the market. They set up FCI which will mop up all the surplus. The MSP was given, and therefore we had a fair margin at a increased productivity and production also. But then over a period of time, the margins started declining. Punjab agriculture became a very capital intensive agriculture. Now more than, the rough estimate is, more than 1 lakh crore is invested in implements only in Punjab. If we include these tubes, etc., it becomes a much larger figure. This money has been largely borrowed from banks at a rate of 11 to 14%. So the debt which Punjab farmers own is primarily because we invested a lot of money in agriculture and the returns have gone down over a period of time. Punjab agriculture doesn't create any jobs nowadays. The elasticity of employment with respect to agriculture output is almost zero, which means that even if there is an increase in agriculture production, it doesn't lead to any job creation. So we don't create any jobs. We have accumulated huge debt largely because we invested in, and a tractor in Punjab is used for only 200 hours, whereas to be economical, it has to be used at least for 1,000 hours. So it's highly underutilized capital investment, but that's also true that not everybody is in crisis. This omnibus category of saying Punjab agriculture in crisis, in fact, is not true. Only the small and marginal farmers are in crisis. The bigger farmers are not, and they are pretending, they are using their support base and then fighting for their own rights. That's another issue that we have not been able to differentiate the large peasantry from the small peasantry. But the actual crisis is either within the agricultural labor class or within the small and marginal farmers. The large farmers have a lot of surpluses, that's a different matter. And most of the money they get it from the institutional sources, which is a relatively cheap source. For example, 90% of the loan of the large farmers in Punjab are from the banking system. More than 92% of the loans of the landless and small farmers are from the non-institutional sources, like money lenders and others who charge a much higher rate of interest. So it's a kind of category where Punjab do have agrarian crisis because the profit margins have gone down, but it's not across the board. It's only the smaller categories which are in crisis. The rich farmers are doing fairly well. And then, of course, the difficulty is that administered prices are managed in such a manner that 70-75% of the increased agriculture output and increased productivity are siphoned off by turning the terms of trade against agriculture, and therefore we are left with something like 20-25% only. But rich farmers, those who own more than 10 hectares, they in fact are even doing well even now. Of course, the difficulty is that the water level has gone down every 2-3 years. Tube well has to be deepened again. That means whatever they earn goes back to agriculture after 3 years. So the difficulty is that it's a agriculture which gave us lot of prosperity for 20-25 years. Now the aspirations levels are still there. The actual profitability is not there. People don't know how to react to it. Sometimes it gives rise to agitation. Sometimes they think of sending their children to Canada and other areas. So the responses are different, but it's not poverty as it is, but it's not as good as it used to be in the beginning of the Green Revolution. So I will not take much time because it's a very wide topic, cannot be covered in a few minutes, but thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, our scholars. Let me share with you that when I put this idea to have a seminar, some of our colleagues were very hesitant that why you are only confining to Punjab. They are coming from other places and they would have no interest in only Punjab and nobody would be there. They will go here and there on lake and other sightseeing places. Thank you very much of all of you. I have not seen a single person to go out and all were attending this seminar. And there is a question asked my friend and this friend. I am very sorry, we will not get the time. But wait, I have option. Wait, but we have a option. Now we have a 15 minutes break. All people who have questions, they can personally meet them and clarify them with them, because after 15 minutes, I am sorry. After that, our Pangra team and Gatka team and martial art team, they are waiting. Just outside they are waiting and we really don't have time. But we have 15 minutes break. All persons, they can personally contact to them. 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes. We have various teams. Only we need 15 minutes to arrange this stage. So please have just a bit of relaxation and then come and join and prepare your batteries of the mobile, because you all would want to have video of this great performance. That I am sure. Now our next is Professor Arvind, Vice Chancellor of Punjabi University. Please. Now we have our Professor Jagrup Singh Sekho. I forget Divya Kudara is also with them. I forget the name. Sorry for that. Amarjit Singh Sidhu ji. Professor Amarjit Singh Sidhu. And finally, we have our chairman of the reception committee. We are proud of this fact that he really encouraged us, inspired us to have work for this conference, Harbans Singh Sidhu ji. Now see our great team. Pallav was saying that there is old people, this and that. Now see our young brigade. This is our young brigade from Punjab. Look at this. And we have many sitting here. We have many sitting here. Thank you very much, everybody. Just we need 15 minutes break to arrange this stage. Please come, everybody. Have some tea or there is a canteen and relax. Please join us after 15 minutes. And there will be meeting
hour. Why? I don't know. There are many retired employees here. There are advocates, very senior advocates, and we have a general opinion that advocates are the ones who charge lot of money. If we talk, Punjab comrades are telling no, we don't do that. Of course, otherwise you would not be here. You would have been in some other place. But usually they charge by hours, 1 hour, 1 lakh rupees, something like that. So even if you charge 1 hour, 1 lakh, you are not reaching the levels of Adani and Ambani. It is not 1 hour, 198 crores, which the rich billionaires are earning. It's only 1 lakh. Even that many of us are not earning, of course. So this is the vast gap that is being built in our country between the rich and poor. We need to understand. As long as these kind of inequalities exist, we should understand that there will always be a threat to peace. There will always be discriminatory attitudes prevalent, both socio and economic. Those are the issues that we need to address in the coming days. There are many statistics that are given in the report that was circulated to all of you about how these inequalities are increasing, how much money is being spent on various things which are not necessary. I'm not going into those statistics, but those statistics prove the point that we are trying to make here, that this inequalities are raising. There is a huge difference between haves and have-nots in the present juncture here. The other thing that is now being blamed on when we are questioning the government, जब भी हम सवाल पूछते हैं कोई भी सरकार को कि ये जो भेदभाव है, ये जो अंतर जो समाज में बढ़ते जा रहा है, इसकी कारण क्या है, तो तुरंत जवाब आ रहा है आज की तारीख में कि यूक्रेन में जो चल रहा है युद्ध, वही कारण है. यूक्रेन का युद्ध के कारण सारी दुनिया की समस्याओं के कारण बना के बता रहा है आज हमारा सरकार या कई देशों की सरकार वाले. क्या ये सही है? हमारे ख्याल से ये सही नहीं है, गलत है. ये जरूर है कि यूक्रेन की युद्ध जो समस्या हो रहा है, समस्या चल रहा है दुनिया में, उसको और गंभीर किया गया है. लेकिन यूक्रेन युद्ध के ऊपर ही सारे इल्जाम सारे ये डाल देना ये सही नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारा जो वित्त स्थिति है यूक्रेन के पहले भी खराब है, यूक्रेन के बाद भी वैसे ही होने के स्थिति में है. We have to understand that the economy before Ukraine war had started is also not in a good shape, and even after the Ukraine war, if it ends, will also be in such a bad shape. Ukraine war has only added to the miseries of the people. So Ukraine war cannot be the sole reason for whatever unemployment that we find in the world today, in our country today, sole reason for the inflation that we find in the world and India today. गैस की दाम परसों 50 रुपये बढ़ा दिया है, इसके कारण यूक्रेन नहीं है. हम यूक्रेन की युद्ध के कारण से काफी सस्ते में तेल और गैस खरीद रहा है उसी रशिया से जहां यूक्रेन के खिलाफ जंग लड़ रहा है, लेकिन फिर भी गैस की दाम बढ़ते जा रहा है. आज 1000 रुपये से ज्यादा हो गया एक गैस सिलेंडर. तो कारण अगर यूक्रेन का जंग के ऊपर बताया गया है वो गलत है. So we have to understand that Ukraine has certainly contributed to increasing our difficulties, but it is not the real reason for the difficulties that lay behind us. The who benefited from Ukraine war also is something that we need to think about. It is not that nobody had benefited from Ukraine war. People are benefiting from Ukraine war. America is benefiting from Ukraine war. American military companies are benefiting from Ukraine war. The profits of American military industry is increasing in this Ukraine war. They have increased their production capacities. Earlier, there used to be mercenaries, hired military contractors who were supplied to go and kill somebody. जिस तरीके से गुंडे होता है हमारा शहरों में, पैसा लेके काम करते थे, किसी को मारना है या किसी को पीटना है, वो पैसे लेके काम करते हैं गुंडे लोग, जो हमको पता है. लेकिन इसी तरीके के गुंडा विश्व के पैमाने पे भी है, जो कॉर्पोरेट्स बना चुका है. एक वैगनर कॉर्पोरेशन के बारे में आजकल आप पढ़ रहे होगा. There is a corporation called Wagner Corporation, which you might be reading these days. This corporation supplies people who will go and fight a war for you. ये बड़ा विश्व की गुंडा है. इसकी जो है यूक्रेन युद्ध पहले इस कॉर्पोरेशन में भी बेरोजगारी बढ़ गया है. These corporation, there were private, they are called military contractors. Private military contractors whom the Americans used to employ in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria to fight the war on behalf of American army. But after the withdrawal from Afghanistan, many people of such private contractors lost their jobs. The wages of those who are working had come down because of unemployment in those companies. But after Ukraine war, suddenly this employment picked up. Their wages rose. And now it is one of the most profitable employment opportunities. If you want to become a mercenary and fight in Ukraine, you might be an Englishman, you might be a Frenchman, Spanish or anybody, but you can enroll, go and fight there. You will get some $30,000 or so per month. That is the amount of money that they are being paid for fighting a war there, for killing other people. Then the profits for these companies are enormous. Similarly, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, all these companies, their share value increased by 30 to 40% because of the Ukraine war. And they are lobbying. Every parliament member in United States has one lobbyist attached from these companies who lobby on behalf of this military industry complex to ensure that the war doesn't stop. There are 700 lobbyists in the United States Parliament on behalf of military industry complex there who are pressurizing the Congress there, Parliament members there, to ensure that the war continues so that they can reap profits. So they are not bothered about the killings in Ukraine, the difficulties that the people of the world are facing today. This is the situation in which on the dead men's bodies, these companies are eating their profits. So this situation has to be challenged, and this situation has to be fought in the coming days by the peace organization in consultation and coordination with our parent body or our fraternal body, the World Peace Council. Similarly, there are many reports that have come out. In the morning, Iraqis was mentioning that $2.13 trillion were being spent as military budget every year. And he also mentioned that a very small, insignificant amount of this $2.1 trillion, if it can be used to tackle hunger, poverty, we could eliminate poverty and hunger. But that is not being done. Statistics are given, $50 billion is enough to ensure that there is no hungry person on this world. $30 billion is enough to ensure that sanitation facilities are provided to every person on this world. So, but the governments are not ready to do this. $100 billion are enough to ensure that there will not be climate change in the coming days, and environmental protection fund that was promised by all these developing countries is met, $100 billion. But they are not ready to give that money. So a small amount of this $2.13 trillion, if it is put to use, we can eliminate hunger, we can eliminate malnourishment, we can eliminate anemia among women, we can eliminate sanitary discrimination, or we can ensure sanitation for all, and we can also ensure that climate change is halted. But this is not being done. Only reason is profit. So this is the system in which we are living today. We need to understand this situation at the international level. And in this background, in our country, we have now got an opportunity to organize the G20 summit. अब इस बैकग्राउंड में हमारा देश G20 देशों का अध्यक्ष चुना गया है, लेकिन दुर्भाग्य की बात यह है कि इसकी प्रचार बीजेपी एक अलग तरीके से कर रहा है. G20 presidency is won by is not won. G20 presidency on the basis of rotation is now given to India. But now it is being propagated, campaigned that Modi has become the president of all the G20 countries. सही है, हम मानते हैं कि सिर्फ हमारा देशवासियों, वाराणसी में जो जनता है मोदी को वोट दिया है और उनको सांसद के रूप में चुने हैं, और वो सांसद जो दल है बीजेपी का, वो दल ने उनको प्रधानमंत्री चुने थे और हमारे देश का वो प्रधानमंत्री बने. लेकिन किस तरीके से ये दुनिया की जो 20 देश है उनकी अध्यक्ष किस तरीके से, कौन वोट डाला, किस तरीके से ये बना, हमको पता नहीं चल रहा है. We are unable to understand how he became the president of all the G20 countries. I don't know which American had voted for him, which Canadian had voted for him, which Englishman had voted for him, which Japanese had voted for him. But he is now claiming to be the president. He is not claiming, might be, but his party had claimed that he had become the president of G20 countries. India has become the presidency of, had attained the presidency of G20 countries. Now G20 का 2 समिट हो चुका है, मिनिस्ट्रियल मीटिंग्स हो चुका है, वित्त मंत्रियों का मीटिंग हो चुका है बेंगलुरु में, उसके बाद विदेश मंत्रियों का मीटिंग कल खत्म हुआ है दिल्ली में. Foreign ministers meeting in Delhi and finance ministers meeting in Bengaluru were completed. There are some other meetings that are scheduled before the summit in September. And all these meetings are supposed to discuss the problems of these 20 countries, the countries in the south, which means the most underdeveloped and developing countries, along with the developed countries which are in the G7. So these problems have to be discussed in the G20. That is the reason why this platform was formed. आखिर G20 किस तरीके से बना है? पहले G7 ही होता था. उसके बाद जब 2008 में विश्व में वित्त संकट आ गया है, उस वित्त संकट से बाहर आने के लिए कोई चारा नहीं मिला है ये G7 देशों को. तब उन्होंने सोचा अगर हमारे हाथ से ये संकट के ऐलान हम नहीं कर पाएंगे तो हम कुछ करना चाहिए. इसीलिए बाकी जो बड़ा देश है इनको भी इकट्ठा करके G20 ग्रुप बनाया है. इस G20 ग्रुप के दौर पे ये वित्त संकट को दूर करने के लिए वो योजना बनाने के लिए बनाया गया है. उसके बाद क्या हुआ है, पहले मंत्री स्तर पे बैठक होता था, लेकिन बाद में ये सोचा गया है कि मंत्री स्तर पे ये बातचीत होने से फायदा नहीं मिलने वाला है. देश की जो नेता है, मतलब अध्यक्ष है या प्रधानमंत्री है, उस स्तर पे बातचीत करना चाहिए. तब बना है ये समिट मीटिंग्स, तब से ये हुआ है. लेकिन अब इसके सारी जो इतिहास है उसको दूर करते हुए, उसको नजरअंदाज करते हुए वो नया इतिहास लिखाना चाह रहा है भाजपा का नेता लोग. दिस real history of G20 is being kept under wraps, and a mythological thing as G20 as something that was existing long back is being propagated now. And when India was made, and every country gets a chance to become the president of G20, and India is naturally at one point of the time or the other it has to become the president. It became a president now. Now the entire game plan, it appears, is to project G20 as a great achievement of Modi government and win the elections in 2024. We are not bothered about 2024 elections now, but we are bothered about the lies that are being spread in the name of G20 and the presidency of India. हम सिर्फ झूठ के ऊपर हमारा दावा है. हम सच्चाई जनता को बताना चाहते हैं. हम सरकार को कहते हैं कि आप ईमानदार रहो, जनता को सच्चाई बताओ, झूठी बातों से काम मत चलाओ. लेकिन अभी यह हो रहा है कि झूठी बातों से ही काम चलाना, जनता को नजरअंदाज करके अपने जो एजेंडा है वो आगे ले जाने के लिए कोशिश ही जारी रह रहा है. इसके खिलाफ AIPSO है. This is the reason why we need to discuss about G20 and how AIPSO needs to intervene in these G20 events in the coming days. There will be a plan that will be placed in the organization report, but we need to understand that G20, there are 30 working groups that the government of India had formed. A group on unemployment, a group on environment, a group on education, a group on culture, a group on health. These are the areas where we need to intervene. अब जहां पे G20 की कुछ बैठक हो रहा है, सरकार ने फैसला लिया है कि पूरा देश में 100 शहरों में G20 की अलग अलग तरीके की कार्यक्रम होगा. In 100 countries in in 100 cities in the country, there will be various programs held as a campaign for the G20 summit. We have to utilize this opportunity. जहां पे रोजगार के ऊपर वर्किंग ग्रुप की मीटिंग होगा, वहां पे AIPSO की जो इकाई है वहां हमारा एक सेमिनार रखना चाहिए जहां बुद्धिजीवी, नौजवान, छात्र सब इकट्ठा होके असलियत के बारे में चर्चा करें. We have to bring the youth, bring the intellectuals, bring the facts with them and discuss about the employment situation in the country and in the world, and also discuss what are the reasons for the lack of employment opportunities. That is how we have to use the G20. We have to coin some innovative names. अगर उनका G20 है, क्या हमारा पॉपुलर 20 हो सकता है क्या? पीपुल्स 20 हो सकता है क्या? एम्प्लॉयमेंट 20, हेल्थ 20 है तो पीपुल्स हेल्थ 20 हमारा नाम हो सकता है क्या? वी शुड थिंक हाउ टू project an alternative to the G20. If it is an employment summit they are organizing, we have to think people's employment 20. If it is G20, whether our name can be popular 20, people's 20, something like that we have to think about and organize an alternative summit to counter the propaganda that is being done by this government, which is not discussing the real problems that have to be discussed in these summits, these kind of summits. The other issue is concerned with the slogan of G20. G20 की जो नारा है उसके ऊपर भी हमारा कुछ विचार है. नारा क्या है? एक ही परिवार, एक ही दुनिया, एक ही भविष्य. One family, one earth, one future. It's a very good slogan. Slogan wise we don't have any problem with this slogan. But the only point is, can devils recite Veda? क्या हमारे देश में जो शतान है वो गीता पढ़ सकती है क्या? ये नारा तो बिल्कुल बढ़िया नारा है, कोई ऐतराज नहीं है हमारा, लेकिन हमारा सवाल ये है कि इन लोगों के कोई अधिकार है ये नारा देने के लिए? हमारे समझ के हिसाब से इन लोगों का ये अधिकार नहीं है। वाई वन फैमिली, क्या हमारा देश एक परिवार जैसे रह पा रहा है क्या आज? इज आवर कंट्री एबल टू लिव लाइक वन फैमिली? नो। फ्यू डेज बैक वी हैव सीन इन राजस्थान, Haryana, how two people were killed just because they happened to be following a faith.
Organization has a preamble. This organization has a political objective. It is very clear. So, but at the beginning, because before the delegate session, we should not hide anything. At the beginning, it was a big problem. After the collapse of Soviet Union, the day Yeltsin was declaring the collapse of everything, standing on the Russian tank, only 48 hours it takes all the leading intellectuals, JNU and other universities, who are in and around AIPSO with a big post, 7 general secretaries, suddenly vanished. Because they thought, oh, there is no Soviet Union, there is no 67 seminars abroad in 65 days, there is no free ticket, there is no free scholarship for our children. Why to be part of AIPSO? Why to be part of AIPSO? When we are glorifying the past, there is a reason to glorify. But at the same time, we have to understand that world was very different. There is the attractiveness of AIPSO. If you are in and around AIPSO, you may get a chance to visit any socialist country. You may get a chance to send your sons and daughters for studying in abroad. All these things was there simultaneously. While there is a leading role played by AIPSO in support of the liberation movement of Vietnam, then all the frontline countries of the South Africa, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, all these things, Vietnam, later on Bangladesh. We played a historic role to mobilize the people. At that time it was easy because our foreign policy was also supportive to our cause. You remember that fantastic photo when Fidel Castro handed over the non-aligned movement leadership to Indira Gandhi? Then you could see nice photographs when Arafat openly declared, India is my second homeland and Indira Gandhi my own sister. So on those days we didn't find a problem to be part of the government, to popularize the project of the government, to popularize the foreign policy of the government. But today it is absolutely opposite. Only left parties together come to one platform. We cannot meet the challenges of today. And also it is not the idea of the left parties too. Here I wanted to be very clear about it. But at the beginning, after the collapse, yes, it was the left parties who took initiatives. Some of that we have to rebuild once again All India Peace and Solidarity Organization. From 1991 to 2007, where was AIPSO? Some strong supporter of AIPSO, like our comrade Bharat Prakash and Chitta Vishwas, some of the other people, they are strongly believe, no, AIPSO can be rebuilt once again. Comrade Ramesh Chandra was also behind us. He said, you people take initiative. Yes, there was a political initiative from different political parties. So we have some kind of alliances of the political parties in the name of AIPSO. But then we understood that this should not be the organizational structure of AIPSO. AIPSO should be much more broadened. All political parties are welcome who are ready to support AIPSO political position, not to support other political parties' position to AIPSO. AIPSO stand with some ideas. It doesn't have any ideology. Many political parties have their ideology. CPI, CPM may have Marxism, Leninism. Our General Secretary of Forward Bloc, Devrajan, he said we are believing Subhashism. Congress can say we are believing Gandhiism. All these ideologies are there. But AIPSO stand for ideas. AIPSO stand for ideas, which does not contradict the ideological position of different political parties. So we are just transforming ourselves. And I should say that it is a very difficult process, But somehow when we are reaching Chandigarh, the historical, city beautiful Chandigarh. Generally we said beautiful city, but here it is city beautiful Chandigarh. We have overcome some kind of political dogmatism, sectarianism in running this organization and to bringing more people to the organization. And I can say, if you go by the character of the reception committee of this conference here, you can understand that Punjab AIPSO is really very broad. Nobody can make a finger that it is run by this party or that party. No, it is not like that. Same character is with the Telangana, same in Bihar. Now we are trying also in Bengal, very broad organization. Of course, as a traditional Bengal, even people are very much left, so they are there. But what today Comrade Chima spoke, it should open our eyes. This is the feeling of the people. They want to see AIPSO most vibrant organization, take a stand for peace and solidarity. So, with this introduction, I really appreciate that morning. For this reason, I didn't speak because the speech of our chairman of the reception committee and Mr. Chima was some kind of guideline for us how to run this organization in future. So, Raipur, we had a last conference in 2020 January. We are supposed to have a conference after 4 years in 2024, but we just preponed 1 year. Why? Because we lost many important personalities who are one of the founders and leading personalities in our organization. We already told their name. In Raipur, the tragedy is that such a fantastic conference was organized in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. People appreciated the arrangement, people appreciated the food, people appreciated the political discourse, people appreciated how the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh extended all help to for the successful holding of the conference. The tragedy is that today conference not a single body from Chhattisgarh is attending. Why? Was that organization running only for 1 or 2 persons? No. Till there is a committee, but they are not in a position to move. For this reason, even Raipur declaration we said we wanted to see AIPSO as a youthful organization of the peace and solidarity activities. All are 72 plus. We don't want to see All India Peace and Solidarity Organization as a pensioners association. Anybody want to see? As a pensioners association, of course we need their blessings. We also need them in the organization. But we need more young blood. More than 60% of the population of India now below 40s. Can we represent our organization? Can we strengthen our organization? Can we fulfill the demand of Mr. Chima that AIPSO should go out from the convention hall and seminar and go to the street and stand for peace and solidarity activities? No. So we have to make some youthful, bring some young comrades to run this organization. Second thing, half of the world is women. Where is the woman in our organization? Today in the inauguration, I don't want to blame anybody. All are male. Thanks to the Cuban interpreter, she was the only woman. Does it really show that we are really respecting our other half? No. And without women, can we move inch forward for any struggle? For any struggle. People should not forget, when we are in Chandigarh, there is a 1 year long prison movement was going on. They left their home, they are in the street, and women are also playing same role like their male partners. So they are successful to continue to their struggles. So all these weaknesses we have to overcome when we are going to form new committees and plan of new activities. I just wanted to say that we also achieved something in last 2-3 years. There are more activities, even in the period of COVID, like Kerala, like Telangana, and also in Bihar, Manipur, Madhya Pradesh. They organized many activities, even in the period of COVID. I appreciate our Kerala committee because they observed 5th June as Environmental Day in a big way. I also appreciate our Telangana committees. At least they came out of the street when there was an attack on Israelis on the Palestinians, on the Solidarity Day with the Palestinians. They confront with the police. There is a case against Sudhakar Jadhav Reddy and on some others. So we want to see that kind of activities. That AIPSO is in the state, in the road, in the street. And only by that we can reach out a big other sections of the society. We need singer, we need dramatist, we need doctor, we need advocate, we need young people, students, youth, cultural activities. And today, what Arun is saying in his speech, that you cannot challenge RSS and their cultural aggression without building a alternative cultural struggles to defeat the BJP and RSS aggressions. So all these things can be done from a platform of AIPSO. It's a unique platform. It's a unique platform for all progressive, democratic, secular left forces. It's a unique platform. Why? Its organizations say we don't have a voting right. Always we move on the basis of unanimous understanding. Which organization in the world have such a inherent strength to tackle with all political tendencies to find a one uniform policy and politics and activities? This is only have All India Peace and Solidarity organizations. So there is enough scope, comrade, enough scope to broaden our activities, to strengthen our activities, and the challenges which we are facing and we will be facing, it will be a tremendous one. Nobody will be out of these things. If somebody says, okay, your house is burning, I am not going to put water. No, then your house also will be burning. The way the attack of this present government is starting. And what is the major change of AIPSO? Which forces us? This is the first time in 2019, All India Peace and Solidarity Organization in its history take a resolution on the election. We never has a resolution. We know there is a Congress, there is a CPI, there is a CPM, there are others. Let them contest whatever they like. We never took a position. But on 2009, before 2019, due to the pressure from the lower level, and we also felt that this is the high time we have to take a political position. So we call upon the people whoever you, please vote for the secular and democratic forces who can defeat the BJP. This will be also our line. This will be also our line. So to strengthen this line, we have to overcome our internal misunderstanding about the character of this organization, about the character of the organizations. Of course, once upon a time, I remember the last biggest delegation of AIPSO, 210 people went to attend Prague Peace Conference. 220 people from India. To Illusion MiG-62 was sent by the Soviet Union Peace Committee. And who was headed that delegation? None other than Congress General Secretary Rajendra Vajpayee. Today's situation is different. Today's situation is different. Some people are there, of course, those who love AIPSO, but they don't want to come in the front. They don't want to come in the front because there are many changes taking place also in different political parties. Also in different political parties. So some people are afraid. Some people thought that if we join AIPSO, we will be marginalized inside the organization. All these problems are there. But all problems can be overcome if we have a resolve to overcome. And we can only overcome through our activities. And being a peace organization, I am saying through our militant activities in defense of peace and solidarity. So without further going, I just also wanted to say one thing. After a long time, we could get good amount of membership. And you have to remember, before 1991, All India Peace and Solidarity doesn't have a membership. It's an open platform and people are coming because many political parties are also very much active. Even other than that, many social activists, intellectuals and all others are also part of that. But there is no membership. But when we started our new way from Patna Conference 2007, we said no, this organization should have a membership. On the basis of membership, this organ should run the organization. We try our level best, but till this time I should say that we collected more than 2 lakhs membership. And what is this 2 lakh memberships in this 124 million people? Nothing. But the political force we represent, inside the AIPSO, if we take them into consideration, for sure we represent a bigger section of the masses. But they have to brought. They are there, but they have to brought into our organization. So the membership which is done this year, it is good, and I hope that other organizations also, other state committees also take appropriate initiative to do memberships. State like Madhya Pradesh, they have only 2,000 membership. What is this? Manipur, 2,000 membership. UP, nothing. So there are many states are just out of the picture. Such a big state like UP, MP. So they have to, we have to build organization there. So some kind of project we have to decide from this meeting. And last thing, I just wanted to say that AIPSO, earlier we are saying, we don't throw anybody, rather we bring everybody. Yes, our political line is that. We don't throw anybody, we bring more people. But when it comes to the organizational structure, there should be a limit. Because last time, our General Council was 181. Now tell me, who will organize the General Council meeting for 2 days? Organizing food, lodging, everything. That's a mini conference. And you cannot discuss there anything. That's a fish market. People are coming, going, not only that we are a General Council member. This General Council member is not an ornament. Executing member is not an ornament. Being a part of the office bearer is not an ornament. It's a responsibility. It's a responsibility you have to, perform. So for this reason, we last a meeting in Chennai, we met and we discussed that our General Council should not be more than 101. I am telling you delegates because you will have a delegation meetings. There will be a quota will be given according to the membership. And I know everybody cannot be accommodated. But I just wanted to request all the delegates, try to find your best choice, who can be in the executive, who is not only supporter, who is ready to do some work for the organization on the day-to-day basis. We need some people, of course there will be some people whose presence is also give us more importance, but they are few. But we need more comrades who can be part of the General Council, and here they didn't get any government support. But their approach is so broad. Their approach is so broad, and they working so hard, reaching the people. So they didn't have a financial problem, but this is not the case for every state. Today, when I was going to take my lunch, then some comrades were collecting this membership fee. That one comrade came and said, Balabda, oh, no problem. I said, why? Well, some people are coming and giving, take 5,000 rupees, take 5,000 rupees, take 5,000 rupees. It is why? Because people fell for it. Now, that this organization should continue, this organization should develop further, and this organization should enhance its prestige. Today, you have seen everybody speaking about my name, Pallab Sengupta. I was keeping silent. Why? Of course, it is a big, prize for me, but it is not prize for Pallab Sengupta. It is a prize for All India Peace and Solidarity Organization. Because of its past, because of its present, which is trying to make much more strong organization, and because they believe that AIPSO can further contribute to enhance the prestige of World Peace Council in international level. It's a liability. It is a prestige in one hand, but on the other hand, it is also a responsibility. So if AIPSO is getting strong, then my views will be listened in the World Peace Council. But if AIPSO is getting weak, who will care? Oh, President, thank you very much. There is a problem also in the World Peace Council, in the international peace movement. Some people wanted to make it very narrow organization. They think that they can fight imperialism with their strength. But we, the representing AIPSO, we do believe, no, World Peace Council should be much more broader, encompassing any political tendencies who are ready to fight for peace and solidarity. So we wanted to make World Peace Council much more bigger. But that process can be geared up, can be strengthened if Pallab Sengupta's All India Peace and Solidarity Organization is also getting further strengthened. Otherwise not. Then another responsibility, that is financial responsibility. It is not that World Peace Council. This World Peace Council is hand to mouth to organize different events in the international level. We also need money. And when we became a president of the World Peace Council, there is also financial responsibility. So, comrade, I just wanted to say, take steps, appropriate steps to build AIPSO on the broad platform, on the broad level, the broad participation of different sections, to bring this organization to the street to fight for peace and solidarity against all injustice, and also strengthen organization politically, materially and financially. Now I am telling you, this word I will finish my intervention. Where is our office? All India Peace and Solidarity Organization. We had a big office, then some misdeed was there. Somebody sold that office in a very low price after the collapse. People are not concerned about it. Then finally we shift our office where Comrade Chitto Vishwas was living in 1 by 10B Asaf Ali Road. From 1951, that flat was belonged to us, and Comrade Ramesh Chand and Pirin Ramesh Chand was living when they are running All India Peace Council. At that time, there is no AIPSO. We was working from there. Just after the Raipur conference, when we went back after in the 4th January, 6th January, we received a letter from the owner of the flat. He said that there is some legal terms I don't understand. He said that he has no place to live, so he wants to get back his flat. We consulted many advocates, including our advocates from Chandigarh. Whoever read their application, they said you can contest to the court, but final victory will be the owner. According to present municipal law, that every people are saying. So we are contesting in the court. We are paying money, but at the same time, building is almost in a position to collapse without proper maintenance. Now we have another problem. Suppose the building collapse in this coming rain, then the owner will demand also compensation. So one way we will be thrown out, other way then we will be once again paying some money to them. So it is now a very impossible situation we are working. Arun is working from his own office, I am working from my own office. But of course, thanks that we have a better coordination, so we are running the show. But being a All India Peace and Solidarity organization, the organization should not have a headquarters. Some people said Pallabda using this conference gave a clarion call to collect 1 crore rupees so we can buy at least 1 2-room flats in Delhi in a good area to have our own office. So we can show the whole world, yes, AIPSO had a office and will have a office by its own. So we will discuss this issue, and I will be requesting all the state committees, please take this issue also seriously. We will give a call for new office of AIPSO from this conference. We will of course distribute the quota, and I am quite sure if we go to the people, with a cause and with our constitution, with our appeal, people will definitely contribute further to strengthen our this AIPSO office, to have a AIPSO office. Last, nowadays those who are in member of many organizations, they knows that nowadays income tax is very active. They are more active than the judiciary. They are more active than police. Our problem is that we have a PAN card, All India Peace and Solidarity Organization, and that PAN card is being used by different. That PAN card is being used by many state committees. The problem is that now the rule is that if you use our PAN card, it should be one integrated account. That means whatever you spend, whatever you income, you please let us know, so that when we are going to the to pay our return, so we should be in a right space. Because once we paid a fine of 3 lakh rupees, because our Puducherry comrade didn't inform us that they also have a account in our name, and they went to Vietnam. They got a huge money from the government of Pondicherry for their transportation to Vietnam, but they didn't inform us. So then income tax office says you are lying, and then after long negotiation, they said, okay, we are just making only 3 lakh rupees fine. So we don't want to have that. And I am telling you, our card, who are having the account, please let us know, and please send all these accounts to us, so we can have an integrated account. Second thing, many states doesn't have a bank account. For an organization like us, we should have a bank account. Many states find their own way to have their own PAN card. I was told in Hyderabad, Committee of All India Peace and Solidarity Organization, in that name, they open an account. If there is a real problem with the PAN cards, I suggest that one of the presidium member of the state and two of the general secretaries, in maximum place there are 2-3 general secretaries, open your bank account. There should be mutual trust, but there should be account. There should be account. Otherwise, nobody will trust you. If people raise a question, we are giving money, where money goes, then what will be our positions? So, for this reason I am saying that along with this all campaign, please have your accounts very clean and complete so that we can make possible, return to the income tax to avoid any kinds of attack from the government. And last, in the organizational task, it is also there, political task, it is also there. Now we are discussing a program. 2nd October is the birthday of Gandhi, and 31st January, it is his Shahad Divas. 30th January, yes, sorry. So from 2nd October to 30th January, we are thinking to organize in every state some kind of rally in defense of constitution and communal harmony. Rally.
Many of you have read or listened about this city. This city is one of the youngest city in the world, just about 60-year-old, planned, and it is maybe the only city which is the capital of 2 provinces, Punjab and Haryana. But even then, it is not under the control of Punjab or Haryana. It is under the control of the central government, what people call federal government. So all of you are here. Yesterday night some people came, all day were coming. It is a big event. Some people maybe face some inconvenience. We regret for that, but we assure you that we will try our best that you, all people who came from each corner of India and from abroad, would feel good, comfortable, and will not face any big problem. Now this is our inaugural session of All India Peace and Solidarity Organization. We have the pleasure that many foreign delegates, including the representative of World Peace Council, they are also participating in this conference. So formally, let us start our conference. I don't want to take much of your time. First of all, I would request the chairman of our reception committee, Dr. Harbans Singh Sidhu, please come on the desk. Dr. Sir, he worked very hard. He is one of the top intellectuals who worked on the issues of Punjab, and he also remained the chairman of Punjab School Education Board. We have the honor that he accepted to be the chairman of our reception committee. I welcome Mr. Sidhu. And secondly, let me invite Dr. Balwinder Singh Tiwana. He is was professor in Punjabi University, and he's done a lot of research work on economy and other fields. He is the vice chairman of our reception committee. I invite him on the desk. Now we have also the honor that Mr. Rajinder Singh Chima, who is the top lawyer of Supreme Court, Punjab and Haryana High Court, and senior advocate. This is not only the issue of that he is the top lawyer in criminal field, but the issue is his commitment. His commitment with cause of social justice, his commitment to defend minorities, to fight against atrocities, and a long history of his contribution for this legal profession. I invite him to be here. He would elaborate our conference. Next, we have the honor that the Executive General Secretary of World Peace Council, Mr. Irakli Savdaris. I have the honor to work him in World Federation of Democratic Youth also. We are long time friends. He is here. We are pleased. It is our pleasure to receive him in my city and in our AIPSO National Conference. Please welcome Mr. Irakli Savdaris. Next, we have the honor to invite Mr. Frank Bank Lloyd, who is the standing Vice President of Vietnam Peace Council. He is also our old friend. We know each other since about 30 years, and he is here in our city for participating in our conference. I welcome him. We have the honor that from the other corner of the world, that is from Cuba, Mr. Victor, who is the Vice President of AIPSO. He came from Cuba and he is here with us, and we know, please come on the desk. And we know that how Cuba is persistently, continuously fighting against American imperialism, against American hegemony, and against the illegal sanctions, illegal blockade made by the Americans, and he is with us. We all during all our time expressed our all solidarity with the fighting people of Cuba. We have the honor to welcome him. Thank you very much. We have the honor to invite Mr. Rabindra Adhikari. He is the General Secretary of Nepal Peace Council. He is with us. I invite him to on the dais. We have the honor that one veteran of the peace movement who has struggled in Bangladesh for their rights and continuously working for peace movement, Mr. Paltu. We call him Paltu Bhai. He is a veteran in spite of his old age issues. He has come here all despite of all odds. We welcome from the core of heart to Mr. Paltu Bhai. We have the honor to receive from Sri Lankan Peace Council, Mr. Budika. He has come here for participating in our conference. So please come on the deck. It is our honor that the Presidium member, Mr. Nilotpal Basu, he is our Presidium member of AIPSO. He is also with us. I invite him on the desk. Please come on the desk. We have also honored to receive Mr. Yadav Reddy, who despite his health issues, he come from Hyderabad to participate in this conference. He has a long-standing commitment for the peace issues, for the peace movement, and has committed with AIPSO. So I welcome him to be here. You all know Mr. Ballabh Sen Gupta. He is the General Secretary of AIPSO, but maybe some of you have not listened that now recently in the Assembly of World Peace Council held in Vietnam, he was elected as the President of World Peace Council unanimously. This is not only honor of AIPSO, it is an honor of India that after about 25 years, when Mr. Ramesh Chandra, he was the president and he has very known figure not only in India but in the entire world and worked for the peace. After that 25 years, India has got this presidency of World Peace Council. He is here. I welcome him. We have the honor to receive Mr. Arun Kumar, who is also the General Secretary of AIPSO. He is with us. I invite him to be on the dais. Similarly, Mr. D.D. Sudhakar, he is also the General Secretary of I welcome him. Now invite from our reception committee, Mr. R.L. Mudgil, who has worked very hard for the success of this conference, to come on the dais. Similarly, Mr. Jaspal Singh Dappar, he is also there. They are the General Secretary of Punjab AIPSO. Mr. Sajjan Singh, who is the Senior Vice President of AIPSO, I invite him on the dais. Similarly, our young cadre, Mr. Navneet Thakur, whom we call with the very active member of AIPSO. Please come on the dais. Similarly, Mr. Amarjit Singh Longia, who was an active member of our reception committee and also former president of Mohali Bar Council. He was the president of Mohali Bar Council 7 times. It is a record. And he has contributed enormously for the success of this conference. I invite him. We have the honor that one of our old friends, who is friends of AIPSO in America, he is very, very famous doctor, and he especially come here for participating in this conference. He is a representative of AIPSO in United States of America, Mr. Yadvinder Singh Sang. I invite him to come on the dais. Similarly, from America, we have another doctor who is also very great doctor in America and peace representative, AIPSO representative in United States, Dr. Harshvardhan. I call him on the stage. We have the honor that our very good friend, who is the representative of AIPSO in Australia, and he came only for participating in this conference, Mr. Hitesh Kapilish, who was the advocate here in Punjab and High Court. Now he is a solicitor in Australia, very young solicitor, successful solicitor. He came only for participating in this conference. I invite also, if Mr. Harish Tanda is here, if he is not here, he will later join us. I invite Mr. Sukhdev Singh Sarsa, who is very great known Punjabi critic and also remain General Secretary of Kendri Punjabi Likhari Sabha, great writer. I invite him on the presidium. Similarly, we have Karamjit Chaudhary. He is the member of the Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana. I think he is here somewhere. He will later join with us. Similarly, you know, all see that this hall is on the name of Comrade Partha Prakash. Comrade Partha Prakash was the known figure in Punjab and also in India, who has devoted entire his life for the peace movement till his last moment. We went to see him when his health was not good, just few days before he passed away, and he was in very good spirit, and we all Punjab team leadership went to meet him, and he was so happy that all his work which he has done, we are carrying forward it, and we met him just few days before.